All right, so those are the parents of Nirbhaya. They're stating that it was a long wait for them, but eventually justice has finally been done. And for more inputs in terms of how this case has progressed, we are joined in by our senior political affairs editor, Sharma, who's joining us over the phone line. Good morning to you, Karthikeya. This is, in some ways, a lot of people would look at it and they would say that justice, or at least something that resembles justice, has now been served. The 4 convicts in this case, after the brutal gang rape that took place in December 2012, have now been hung until death in the early hours of morning in a pre-dawn hanging.
This case is very important in context of the political history, the judicial ramifications, and the legal precedences. I would say, since I covered the riots, the protests which took place in Delhi, New Delhi specifically, post Nirbhaya or Jyoti Singh's subsequent rape and death, what happened, Saleh, was that it was a big bold jolt to the UPA, headed by Dr. Manmohan Singh and UPA chairperson Sonia Gandhi. It created a lot of unrest in the country. It created trust deficit. For the first time, then Prime Minister Manmohan Singh and Sonia Gandhi had to come out and make a statement. The government looked detached, removed from the concerns of the common people. It brought out the problem between the LG's office and then Delhi's Chief Minister Sheila Dikshit, because, you know, the policing is always with the Ministry of Home Affairs through left LG's office. And an elected Chief Minister of Delhi does not have a say in that.
Right.
It had a lot of judicial consequences, legal consequences. There was a committee immediately which was made. Then the Home Minister, at that point of time, immediately constituted a committee under one retired Chief Justice of India, with other retired justices like Leela Seth, mother of very noted author, Vikram Seth herself, a big legal luminary. And they came out with reforms. And they came out with 20-point proposal, which was given a clear go-ahead by the cabinet of this country, which made gang rape, punishment for gang rape. And then they also actually reformed this Juvenile Age Act, and they were incorporated in the CRPC Act of India. That was the legal part of it. Right. But then there was a public campaign part of it also, Nirbhaya, which you need to understand, that it took the family more than 6 years to get justice. And at every level, though even convicts, or the people who then accuse now convicts, now death, have the legal right to pursue, misuse the system. After a point of time when the justice was delivered, they tried to misuse the system. And it created a lot of angst in the society, whereby somehow the lines between retribution, revenge, and justice was getting blurred. So I'm very happy that the justice has been delivered, and but it glaring brings into light that more needs to be done in, I would say, speeding up cases which have to do with gang rape, because ultimately laws represent social moves of people in society, Saleh.
Absolutely, indeed. And also, Karthikeya, you covered the incident and the protest that broke out in the national capital in the aftermath of it. You know, the whole of India at that point of time was discussing on how issues like this need to be stopped. And this was also such an important moment at that point of time in December 2012, where this 23-year-old medical student had been brutally gang raped in a moving bus and then was thrown out and left to die. You know, I want you to tell us about how this has changed the society in terms of how crimes like this are looked at. And although there have been changes that have been brought about in the legal system, have they really been effective since in stopping incidents of this nature?
You know, it's such a, it's such a tough question you asked me, Saleh. You know, as a journalist, I realize it's my personal opinion that there has to be a capital punishment for those who are convicted of rape and gang rape. But then, you know, you have those studies which came out subsequently that post-reforms, or I would say post-amendments, whereby the laws became tough and it became impossible for anyone to misuse it. The survivors have become very few. For example, in the Telangana case, since the laws have become tough, the killing of the rape victim has gone up. And then you have those counter-arguments that does capital punishment act as a deterrence against rape. Those are academic debates. But nonetheless, they came into open. They were discussed whether capital punishment works in cases like this or not. My opinion is personal, but then those debates also came out. Then the second important aspect was that, well, yes, the justice was being delivered through special courts, but 90% of the time it was again getting delayed because of procedural issues. So the whole theme of justice delayed again came in public forums, and people felt that despite amendments being made at the central and the state level, and especially at the state level, because Indian law is implemented through state governments, not by the center, unless and until it's a case of terrorism or act of war. Right. Those cases also came into light, Saleh. But I would say that Nirbhaya's case is a paradigmatic case, because it did not turn into a local law and order issue. It actually hit the conscience of the people. It really impacted the ruling dispensation. They lost power subsequently. So Nirbhaya case is more than one case, but right. It's also a story that somehow only laws are not sufficient to protect women, you know. I think it also depends on how families bring up boys and who go on to become men. And I think that's where the real task lies.
Absolutely, indeed. I think you've summed it up very beautifully indeed, because this is, of course, a moment to reflect. It's a somber moment for the nation as such. 7 years since the gruesome incident that shook the conscience of the nation took place back in December 2012. The convicts have now been hung till death. But what will this, of course, mean for the larger nation? This, of course, still remains a big question, because a lot of people are still looking at it. They've said that 7 years is the period in which the family of Nirbhaya had to wait before justice could have been done. Why is it that our judicial process takes such a long time in handing out justice? This, of course, are other big debates which will continue to, of course, be talked about in the coming days.